Once upon a time, in a small, beautiful village called Umudim, there lived a princess named Olamma. Princess Olamma was the only child of her parents. They loved and cherished her so much that they could give her whatever she asked for just to make her happy. But even with such privilege, Princess Olamma treated everyone with love and kindness. One day, Princess Olamma was taking a walk with her personal maid along a bushy path of the village when suddenly she heard the sound of a flute. The sound was so melodious that she almost began to move her body to the rhythm. She asked her maid if she knew where the sound was coming from, and her maid told her that it might be from the neighboring village called Umedu. Olamma's smile vanished at the mention of Umedu. For many years, the people of Umudim village and the people of Umedu village have never liked themselves. Their disputes started as a result of land ownership. The people of Umudim won the fight and claimed the land because there were more people in Umudim than Umedu. Since then, they had a strong dislike for themselves, especially the people of Umedu, who felt it was injustice and therefore harbored so much hatred for the people of Umudim. As the irresistible melodious sounds continued to flow freely through her ears, Olamma couldn't just turn around and walk away. She told her maid that she wanted to cross the boundary into Umedu village, and her maid became worried. With respect, she told the princess that it was a bad idea to go to Umedu, reminding her of the dispute between the two villages. But Princess Olamma said that the dispute happened a long time ago. She wasn't even born then. It was a story passed down, and she didn't understand why they still disliked each other. To be honest, she didn't hold any grudge against the people of Umedu, and she would not even mind having a friend from there. Her maid still tried to prevent her from going. With fear written over her face, she said the king would be angry if he got to know that she let the princess go into Umedu village. But Princess Olamma, who was still bent on going, told her maid that her father would only get to know if she told him about it, but if not, no one would know. Unwillingly, the maid followed Olamma and they crossed the boundary into Umedu village. They followed the sound of the flute till they got to a big tree where they saw a young, handsome man playing the flute with his eyes closed, completely unaware of their presence. When he opened his eyes, he was shocked to see them. From their attire, he knew they were from Umudim. A slight frown appeared on his face as he asked them what they were looking for. Olamma, seeing that he had a frown on his face, became a bit scared that he might hurt them. With a hint of fear in her voice, she told him that she only followed the sound of the flute, that she liked the rhythm and only wanted to see the flutist. The man saw that they looked totally harmless, so he erased the frown on his face and replaced it with a more welcoming look. Olamma smiled and begged him to play some sounds for her. A little smile played on his lips because of how excited she was. He nodded and began to play the flute. Olamma, on the other hand, began to dance. With a genuine smile on her face, she moved her body in the same motion as the rhythm. The man was amazed at how much she loved his rhythm. No one ever cared to listen to his rhythm, which was why he played them in the quiet place where he could hear the chirping sounds of the birds and the sounds the trees make when they sway their leaves to the movement of the cool breeze. Olamma danced and only stopped when the man stopped playing the flute. The man stared at her in the eyes and thanked her. Olama was a bit confused on why he was thanking her. She felt she was supposed to be the one to thank him instead. So she told him that she was supposed to be the one to thank him. She said joyfully that she loved his rhythm and that it was capable of taking someone's sorrow away. At night, Olama stayed awake, thinking of the flutist she had met earlier. He was really handsome and gentle. She realized she had not asked him for his name, and she cursed herself for forgetting. She looked out of the window into the dark and quiet night, feeling a bit impatient for the day to get bright. She wanted to see the flutist again. This time around, she would ask for his name. When morning came, Olama excitedly left the palace and headed for Umedo to see the flutist again. When she got there, she saw him again, which made her smile even more. Without being asked, he told Olama that he liked being out there in the morning because it was at that time he could clearly hear the birds chirp and the sound of the trees swaying to the cool morning breeze. He said it lifted his spirit and made him feel calm. Not wanting to forget, Olama asked for his name and he told her Ejidike. Ejidike played the flute, filling the air with beautiful melodies. Olama moved in response, her body moving gracefully to the music, totally lost in the rhythm. She didn't stop dancing until he finally put down his flute, captivated by her movements. The next morning, they saw each other again, and from that day on, meeting became a joyful routine for them. Their connection deepened with each passing day, growing into a love that felt overwhelming. Whenever they were together, they couldn't keep their hands to themselves. It was as if they were drawn to each other with a powerful force. One day, Olama shared the news of her father's upcoming birthday with Ejidike. She pleaded with him to come and play the flute at the celebration, convinced that her father would be thrilled to hear his beautiful music. Olama imagined the joy on her father's face when he heard the enchanting melodies, and she wanted to create a memorable surprise for him. Ejidike, however, initially hesitated, recalling the ongoing disagreements between their people. Finally, moved by her passion and hope, Ejidike agreed to join her, feeling a mix of anticipation and worry about what their shared moment might bring. On the day of the celebration, Ejidike approached the grand palace, filled with a mixture of excitement and anxiety. As soon as he got close to the gate, the guards recognized him as someone from Umedu clan. They quickly told the king about his presence, and the king reacted with anger. He ordered his guards to capture Ejidike and lock him away without hesitation. Meanwhile, Olama rushed to her father, her heart racing as she tried to explain that Ejidike was her friend and that she had invited him to play his beautiful music for the celebration. However, the king scolded Olama for bringing someone from a rival clan into their midst, believing it was betrayal. He insisted that Ejidike must be punished, wanting to teach him a lesson he would never forget. Olama felt a wave of despair wash over her as she watched her father's stern expression, realizing that her hopes for unity and joy were slipping away in the face of old conflicts. The following day, Olama fell gravely ill, prompting her father to seek the help of a herbalist. After a careful examination, the herbalist delivered a shocking news that Olama was pregnant. This revelation devastated her parents. Olama's mother asked her about the father of the child, and Olama revealed that it was Ejidike. Her mother was overwhelmed with sadness, tears streaming down her face as she struggled to process the painful reality. Her father, meanwhile, stood in shocked silence and disappointment. That night, while everyone was asleep, Olama quietly went to the place where Ejidike was locked up. She felt nervous but also hopeful as she told him that she was going to have his baby. This news hung between them, filled with both worry and excitement. The next day, Ejidike was released to return to his own people, leaving Olama feeling a mix of relief and anxiety about the future. A week later, Ejidike came back with some important men from his clan. They had come to ask Olama's family if she could marry him. From the look of their faces, it was clear that they were not happy about the situation. Their faces showed irritation and they seemed to carry a heavy burden of tradition and expectations. Olama's parents exchanged worried looks, fearing for their daughter's happiness in this marriage. Despite the tension in the room, Olama and Ejidike felt joyful at the thoughts of being together. With heavy hearts, Olama's parents agreed to the marriage, knowing they could not change how much their daughter loved Ejidike. A month later, they held the wedding ceremony, and to their surprise, many people showed up. At first, they were worried that no one would come to such a wedding given the situation. But friends and families from both Ejidike's clan and Olama's clan gathered joyfully to celebrate the occasion. Olama and Ejidike's wedding marked an important moment for their communities. It brought the Umedu clan and the Umudim clan together again, reminding everyone of the power of love to heal old wounds. The celebration not only marked a new beginning for Olama and Ejidike, but also opened the door for unity and relationship between the two clans.